Hello guys, Robot1 here, coming at you with a new Yu-Gi-Oh video, and in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video, I wanted to show you my second place locals Invoked Dogmatika deck list. Yes, I know I've had it on the channel before, but the deck has changed a bit, and I wanted to show the deck with upgrades such as Cross-Out Designator in it, because I thought, hey, I've upgraded the deck a bit. I was managed to come second this week with the deck at locals, going X1, only really losing to the fact that one game I opened double invocation in my hand with no way to play the game and my opponent opened order, and another game pretty much just because I made a slight misplay that really did cost me the match. So I thought, hey, I had a really good run at locals. I played I played against pretty good matchups as well. Like round 1 was against Elder Lich, round 2 was Burning Abyss, which is the one where opponent opened order, and then also I bricked and stuff, so I was unable to play the game. Round 3 was against Spellbooks, funny enough. Didn't expect to be playing Spellbooks, but hey, played Spellbooks. Round 4, sorry, was against the mirror match of Invoked Dogmatika as well. And then round 5, I played against ABC. Somehow I always managed to play against that deck at locals. Don't ask me how, but the deck is actually pretty solid, and if it goes off, it does go off really well, being able to make stuff like Infinity, Buster Dragon, and Dragoon turn 1. But guys, I thought, hey, seeing as I did pretty well at locals with this, I'll show off the deck profile, go through it, and basically just show you the upgrades, and hopefully you guys can enjoy it and see how good it is. So without further ado, let's go. So starting off, we play the free Alistar. I'm not explaining him. He literally says normal summon, search, invocation, and go from there. So he's really strong. 2 Dogmatika Ecclesia. I chose to turn this to a ratio of 2 because pretty much I wanted to make room for Cross-Out Designators, and I didn't really want to hurt my hand trap lineup too much. So I chose to cut this down to 2 for this locals. It worked out pretty well. I didn't really miss the third. I feel like the third is still really strong, but I feel like 2 is also okay. So if you want to play 2, go ahead, play 2, guys. It's an optional thing, and honestly, the card is a 1 or a 2 of, like a 2 or a 3 of. Like, you don't want to play 1. I don't know why I said 1, but it's a 2 of is fine because you've still got 3 Nadir Servant to search it, and if you draw punishment, you can search it with the Titanic Lad. So it's fine at 2, and the card is very strong, being able to search any Dogmatika card in your deck, and you can special summon it to the board if you control an extra monster or your opponent controls an extra monster. 1 Maximus. This card is insane if your opponent is not playing Dogmatika. It doesn't have instances in the extra deck, it doesn't have any trigger effects in the extra deck, because it literally says, oh, banish a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster from your graveyard, special summon, and then you can send 2 cards from your extra deck to the graveyard and 2 cards from your opponent's extra deck to the graveyard of their choice. So card is really strong, allows a lot of different dumb things, especially seeing as it allows you to get Winder for essentially free, and the card is just really nice, and I would always play out 1 in the deck, as long as obviously, well, Unts and stuff isn't a mandatory staple in the format. So yeah, Maximus is 1, and then 1 Fleur de Lis. This is literally just another effect veiler in the deck essentially, where if you have a Dogmatic card on the board and there's an extra monster on the board, you can special summon it from your hand, and also just negate a face-up monster your opponent controls. This is also part of the OTK as well in the deck, where if you open Alistar plus Ecclesia, you can basically go 8k damage, because Alistar goes into Mechaba, Ecclesia goes ahead and search Fleur de Lis, Fleur de Lis attacks, Mechaba, Fleur de Lis, and Ecclesia is 7k damage, because this boosts all Dogmatic cards you control, and then Alistar is the extra 1k, so you can OTK thanks to Fleur de Lis as well, which is really nice. For hand traps, we play 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. It's just one of the best hand traps in the game, and honestly is really strong, and you want to see it in every opening hand, so you want to play 3. 3 Effect Veiler. I think this card is very good this format, just for the fact that Tri Brigade exists, and also the mirror match can exist, and there's a lot of weird niche decks that exist out there that Veiler just stops. So 3 Veiler is very strong, and it also stops Verti Anaconda, which is very good as well, so play 3 of that. And then 1 Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion. This is mainly because 1 for a cross-out target, because I want to prevent my opponent from ghost spelling my invocation if I don't have Magical Meltdown on the board, and 2, it has very niche implications against decks like Virtual World, where if they use something like the one that summons from grave or one that can add back from grave, you can just negate it and prevent them from doing stuff. So Bell is actually a very niche card, a very interesting hand trap that can come up in a lot of different situations, that I wanted to keep it at 1 in the deck. I was originally running 2, but I chose to put it to 1 just because it's the least usable hand trap in my main deck, and I felt like 1 was fine. So yeah, it's just a cross-out target and can come up in a lot of niche situations. For spells though, we play 3 Meltdown with the Terraforming. It's essentially, oh, I go ahead and get Alistar the package. 3 Nadir Servant. This card is absolutely insane. If you open Meltdown plus Servant, that is basically an FTK, because that's Mechaba plus Winder and Dogmatika cards. That's just really good, and this card is insane because it searches Ecclesia and also sends card from from your extra deck to the graveyard, normally the Shadow package, to go ahead and get Schism and then go in to be able to make Winder on the following turn. So card is absolutely insane. Free Pot of Prosperity. Honestly, this is just a very good card in my opinion to play in any deck. There are a lot of decks that shouldn't run this, like specifically ones that, you know, don't really want to banish their extra deck, or if you can, risk those few cards. But honestly, I like this card in the deck a lot because you excavate free and you just banish like 3 random cards from your extra deck, 3 that of your choice, and it's normally going to be cards that you don't use every single game. So it's going to be like, if you're playing the Invoked Wind Raijin, then you can just banish that face down, you could banish the Purgatorio face down, and you could banish like an Unce face down to go ahead and just excavate the top 3. And if like a Nadir's Servant's in there, if an Alistair's in there, if any way to play the game is in there, this card is absolutely insane. So I really like Prosperity in the deck. I think it's a really, really strong card in Invoked, and honestly, I love it on free, and I wouldn't really cut this card down. I feel like it is a mandatory free of in the deck. Next we play 2 Crossout Designator and 1 Called by the Grave. Honestly, I drew Crossout Designator once the entire day, and it won me the match. Honestly, the card is absolutely insane. Just being able to banish like an Ash Blossom from your deck, an Effect Veiler from your deck, any card from your deck, to be able to just negate something that turn and go from there is really, really strong. And in Invoked, Crossout Designator actually has an additional utility use, which I really kind of like in the deck, where if you have opened the Invocation and you can get it in your graveyard, and you haven't got an Alistair, then you can just go ahead on your opponent's end phase, Crossout Designator your Alistair from deck, banish it. Invocation Engraved can then be done on your turn, where you can just put the Invocation back in your deck, add the Alistair to your hand, then normal summon Alistair to be able to make Mechaba. So that's just like a cool little interaction that Crossout Designator actually has with the deck that I really, really like. And to be honest with you guys, I feel like Crossout Designator is only a 2 of in the deck. I wouldn't run it on more than 2 because I feel like it's something that can be coggy a lot of the time, and I know that's hard to say when you're thinking, oh, you want to be playing ways to prevent your opponent from stopping you from playing the game. But in a deck like this that plays so many different cards and so many different ways to play the game and is very, very consistent, I feel like it's fine to play 2 in the 1 Called by, because like, sure, I could play the 3rd Crossout Designator, but I feel like it could, maybe if I drew multiples, it's just not going to do anything. So I prefer 1 Called by the Grave and 2 Crossout, because it makes more sense. And I feel like if I drew multiple, it could really brick me at times. So 2 Crossout is fine. I really like it at 2, and 1 Called by, obviously, because Called by is just a better Crossout designator. Because Crossout was, if Called by was at 3, I'll be playing the Called by. Next we play 2 Cosmic and 1 Duster. I wanted to main back row removal for a lot of different reasons. I feel like back row removal is very important in this format because like there's a lot of back row decks, Elderlich, Altergeist. You can use this stuff against decks like Virtual World, for instance, where if you chain the Cosmic Cyclone on the target of the Virtual World card, then you just banish it and then they cast from the Virtual World. The Duster is very, very strong because we just get rid of all the Virtual World's back row, we get rid of all the Elderlich back row, we get rid of, like, if we're in a mirror match, we can get rid of like their set Schism, the punishments, everything along those lines. These cards are very, very strong and in Invoked. I have the room, so why not play them? But if you really did want to change the deck and put the 3rd cross out, you could cut the Cosmics and then maybe put in another hand trap and the 3rd cross out Designator. I just really like playing back row removal because I feel like it comes up a lot. Next we play 2 Invocation. It's Invocation, you have to play at least 2. I wouldn't run 3 of it, I feel like 3 is too much, so we just play 2. And 2 Forbidden Droplets because, well, it's Droplets. This card literally says you can win the game through your opponent's Omni-Negate board, and you only really need 1 card to play the game, and that's Alistair. So Droplets is really strong, and if we do manage to resolve a free Negate Droplets and make Purgatorio, I'm pretty sure we're going to win because we just halved all of their attack points. So yeah, a big Purgatorio will win you that match. So yeah, 2 Forbidden Droplets. Going on to trap cards, we still play the free Infinite Impermanence. Card is very, very good. Card says negate monster effect. It's basically another effect veiler. 2 Dogmatika Punishment because it's a 2 of. I wouldn't run this card at 3. It's searchable for Ecclesia, and yes, it's in the card's graveyard, but it's fine as to 2 of. You don't need to run more than 2. And then 1 Schism as the last trap card because, well, it makes Winder. We want to be playing the 1 of. So yeah, pretty much traps are negation, removal, because you can double remove things and also get more advantage with like Titaniclad, and then Winder Pass because Winder is just very, very strong. Going into extra deck though, we play the 1 Almirage and the 1 Secure Gardener. This is pretty much you go at normal summon Alistair, you make Almirage, you make Secure Gardener, that's your light and your fire. 1 Wind Pegasus at Ignista, because this card says card you control is destroyed. You get to banish it from the graveyard and then shuffle 1 card into the deck. Your opponent controls into the deck. 1 Omega because you can infinitely recycle it with Maximus and Unts, so you want to be able to do that to be able to just gain more and more advantage off your Maximus. 2 Unts because Unts is just, it's an amazing card in this deck. You literally send it to the graveyard, you pop, you have multiple ways to send it through Nadir's Servant, through Maximus, through Punishment. It literally does so much for the deck that you want to be playing at least 2 of it. 1 Titaniclad, it allows you to search literally any Dogmatica card from your deck during the end phase, normally going to search your Fleur de Lis, so you want to be playing the one of that. 1 Augustes, because this card literally says on summon pop, and then when your opponent special summons you can pop a card, and also you can banish a fusion from your graveyard to go ahead and just boost it even further, so you make a really big monster, you have 3 pops, and it's just really nice there as well. 1 Raijin, this is if I ever see Bird Up. If I see Bird Up, I want to play around it. Raijin plays around it, so we play that. 1 Purgatorio for OTKs, 2 Mechabird to have those negates. Like, honestly, it's Mechabird, you want to be playing at least 2. 1 Winder, 1 App Clone, and 1 Construct for the Shadow package, because, like, the Winder is the most important one. You send the App Clone to go ahead and get the Schism, then you discard the Schism, you make the Maximus, then you send the Construct to the graveyard with the Titaniclad to go ahead and add the Schism back to then go ahead and go into Winder during your opponent's turn. So you need to be playing all of that in your extra deck. Like, honestly, the extra deck is very important. I don't think there's a lot I could change in the extra deck. I feel like it's very fine as it is now. And yeah, like, it's very solid, and I don't really have a lot of issues with the extra deck at this current moment. I don't think there's anything I would actually change, except for maybe cut the Raijin if Bird Up ever dies completely. And then just for side deck, like, honestly, side deck can be whatever you want. This is just what I sided personally at my locals. 2DD Crow, I feel like this has a lot of implications in the format, banishing, like, anything from opponent's graveyard. If you're playing against Elderlich, you can just banish their Elderlich cards. If you're playing against Invoked, you can banish their Alistair on the Invocation activation. If you're playing against Burning Abyss, you can banish their stuff for cost so it doesn't resolve. Just a lot of different implications there, and against Virtual World, you can finish, like, their Qinglong and stuff like that, so they can't actually get stuff there. 2 Skullmeister, because it's basically another DD Crow, but it's for, like, just the graveyard-oriented decks. So if I do go up against Virtual World or Eldritch, this normally goes in just so I can have that additional negate and additional hand trap. Plus, I am running 2 2s of a lot of hand traps because I feel like 2 is a better ratio, because 1, it means I can put them in to go ahead and cross out designated them, and 2, it means I have a lot of different variety for a lot of different decks. So I feel like it's just very good to play these at 2. 2 Draw Lockbird, this is for the mirror match or any deck that searches a lot, so we just play 2 of it. 2 Nibiru, combo decks need to die, and Nibiru is a way to do it, so we play 2 of that. 3 Alpha, this is like our out to Dragoon, this is our out to big monsters. I feel like this is just a really, really strong card. If you don't want to play it though, you can play Evenlies, it's like fully optional. I'm 50-50 on it and Evenly, but I really like this card, so I'm choosing to play it. 3 Lightning Storm for the back row decks, just so we can deal with back row decks, and then 1 Imperial Order, because I feel like this card has to be at least in the side deck this format, because it just stops so many different decks and wins you so many different games because of it. But yeah, guys, that is my deck profile. Honestly, Invoked is a very, very strong deck this format, in my personal opinion. I think it's at least in the top 5 decks. I don't know if I'm gonna keep playing this deck at locals, because I do want to try and play other things at locals. I want to do different things at locals, and I like to play other strategies at locals a lot of the time. But yeah, guys, that is actually my deck profile, though. I hope you did enjoy, guys. Like, this is all I have to really show, all I have to really say left. Let's move that to the side so there isn't a glare. And yeah, guys, I hope you really did enjoy this. Like, this is my Invoked Dogmatika deck profile. I hope you like it. I hope you did enjoy. If you have anything to say about it in the comment section below, please say. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, check out the links, and I'll see you guys later. Robot1, signing out. Invoked, they're monkey, but they're strong.